sounds wonky too. Like when she was sitting here, I couldn't hear her at all. She stood right on the microphone. We could hear her.
That's the mic there.
Yeah, you will go right here.
Phone sounds,
Then,
Check.
check.
okay, so the time is 6 o'clock. I call the April 22nd meeting to order. Again, please, from the president.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Comments, we have no present. Approval of minutes for April 8th.
Look good to me.
I second approving the minutes from April 8th.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the April 8th minutes. Was there any discussion on that?
Nope.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Very nice. Additions to the agenda, do we have anything? No.
No.
Correspondence and announcements, we had the beach pond drawdown, discussion with DEP was earlier today. It was very well attended. There was probably like almost 30 people online, but a handful of those were DEP people. And they were probably, I mean, town, how many were in here, but probably like another 20 to 25 in here. There was a good conversation between the state and the residents about, doing a deep drawdown for the winter, like not this winter, but next winter. Went over, expectations for as far as permits, and, all that stuff. It's online on YouTube, so if anyone wants to watch it, you can. I'm still open for questions. If anyone has any questions, they can email them to me and I will forward them on either to, the wetlands officer or, the state, depending on what questions.
The YouTube link is on our website.
It's not on the website yet. I haven't had a chance to do that, but it's,
Well,
if
if
you
you
go to
Yeah.
YouTube, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. If you go to the town YouTube page, it's there. Okay. It's up there. It's just not. linked.
YouTube, Town of Voluntown,
Okay.
and then wade
Would you
through.
like me to email you the link?
Sure.
What
Don't send it to my government address,
exactly? What email? Your other.
my usual one.
So it is on the YouTube channel, it's just not linked in. And so then this Saturday is our shredding event. Starts at 9 to 12, drive through, bring your stuff, drop it in the shredder and leave.
How big
and
is our shredder?
there's 2 shredders and they're pretty big.
Not
They're
spousal.
trucks. They're trucks. They're just like giant trucks. You pour it into a trash barrel and it takes it and shoots it in the shredder and then pops it back down. And you know, there's 2 trucks, so there can be 2 going at a time.
Can it shred metal?
No.
No, it's paper.
But if you have staples, the paper clips.
It does that, yeah.
Okay.
Takes staples and paper.
It will not take hard drives. Okay.
I think I can't remember if it did take. I think it did take like CDs and stuff.
Okay.
You can bring.
Yeah,
them.
that CDs and DVDs, it will take,
Yeah,
but it's the next step up to
I don't
Dude,
know. You
fuck.
can ask.
little metal boxes like that.
You can ask
So-
them if you wanted to bring it, if it wasn't a lot of stuff and you wanted to try it, you can ask them and they'll tell you if they can figure it out.
The truck drive over.
Some stuff they don't, there were some things last year, like the CDs and stuff, they didn't shred them here, they sealed them up and took them to their facility to shred. So that they do seal them up and show you and then take them. But I'm not sure exactly what it was. Anything else is going on? Public Works report. We are meeting with them to work over, go over some policies. They're prepping for the guardrail on, Penrod Road and Gardner. And we got all the beach buoys in, so they're gonna be working on that. They put the flags up. So there's a lot of ongoing work that we're working on there.
They've been doing quite a bit of work on Shetucket. And east of Wiley School Road up towards Dirty Jim's. Where they've scraped the dirt off the side of the road.
Yeah.
You should realize most of that macadam is there by force of habit. There's some really rough spots in there.
Right. So local traffic authority, no updates there. I have a meeting tomorrow with the DOT commissioner to go over road safety, and things that, the DOT can do to help with that and work with us on. And, I have, some people, Jim Rivers and Jim Larkin, are both of them from UCOG, will be coming, with me as well.
So. Speed ramps in the school zone, speed ramps in the school zone. They've got them offered on main roads.
Just as an aside, the Mercer Monuments was down at Providence Cemetery. Taking pictures and doing measurements to repair the damage.
The what?
Mercer Monuments,
Okay.
because they
For
had
the
done,
fence.
yeah, they
Yeah.
had done the last repair job. So they hadn't realized how extensive it was. It goes up to where the little street is that crosses in between. They hadn't realized how to clear it out, so. A lot of work to be done.
So that's.
Can we go after the individual?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's
Their
there's
insurance, I think.
actually it's under the jurisdiction of the cemetery association, and they can get the police report and go after the insurance. If the police report is filed. Finance report? I'll just talk under the budget. Okay. Did Tony have one? Tony did not know. Okay, so no treasurer's report. Old business, ARPA funds, no update.
I finished, doing the submission to NECOG, and they're gonna do the final, they're the ones that input them, our expenditure to the cyber portal.
Yeah.
And it's due by, April 30th. That's been sent on to NECOG.
Thank you.
There's 49,000 left in our funds that have been obligated,
Okay. That's the
the radio,
radio.
the fire department.
Gonna put that on my list. Oh, and then- Trip grant, I don't think we have an update on that, and the water study, we didn't have a meeting since the last meeting, so no update on that. New business budget fiscal year 25-26. I can start with the meeting dates, because we went through, we made some tentative dates the last meeting. And Julie and Pam met and went over, because there's certain statutory requirements for
Yep.
the postings and everything. So they went through, and it's recommended that we change. We had the budget public hearing on Tuesday, May 13th. That's like very touch and go on getting it posted in time. So, we're recommending that that we do a special, like a public hearing on a different date, which is on Monday as well, instead of Tuesday.
Mhm.
And that'll give us enough cushion for the leeway to not have to,
Sorry for the week before.
yeah, to not have to have it.
So Monday, 5/12.
Here
Public
or
hearing.
at school.
Here, there's no one really. We can do it here.
Because I have to take 2 days to get it into the paper, and then it has to be 5 days in the paper before the meeting. And if we have our town meeting May 20th, and we don't even have our public hearing to May 13th, it doesn't go to the paper until May 14th, which gives me 6 days, so it's not enough time.
Yeah.
So May 12th is, even May 12th is cutting it.
7 o'clock.
We can do 7.
And what time, I'm sorry, when did you say the town meeting was? The following?
The May 20th is the town meeting, and the referendum, I think we will have everything ready for the referendum. With that,
That's, they're trying, we went to training today.
so, it looks like that's what we can do on 6:30.
You want to do it at 6 or 7 on May?
The earlier the better,
Well, yeah,
so probably 6. So then we can just send it off to the paper right after.
Town meeting also at 6.
The town meetings we usually do at 7, I think, so I figured that's more people about that.
Yeah.
For the public, because those are for public, the other for the public. So those are the dates, and then we have an updated budget in front to, review and send on to the public hearing. What's different from the last one is,
You want me to say?
yeah. Besides the public safety.
There's two big changes. Public safety, gave us their numbers. So they've increased the fire protection and the public, safety reimbursement. And then we've added in the, amount for the emergency responders, so they're going up, their budget alone is going up 78,000. So that's the majority, half of what the town budget is going up, public safety. Another major change, we've added a debt service line. So I think last time we talked about the Fort Hill Bridge being a reimbursement grant. Yeah, did we talk about that?
We did.
So we spoke to Centerville and we sat down with them a couple times, we've gone back and forth about getting some numbers. We're gonna have to do a line of credit for approximately $2 million. So that we're able to make our payments for the bridge and give us leeway time to get the money,
Get the reimbursement.
get the reimbursement back from the state. That's gonna mean we're gonna have to pay some interest to Centerville for this line of credit. So they gave us a bunch of numbers, and right now, for what's in this budget is just for like 2 months worth, it's April to June.
What line item is that?
It's on the
It's
very
third
last,
last,
the very
page
last.
4 at the bottom.
Debt service.
Debt service, last line. Use dog fund.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've had like 5 copies. I was getting numbers from the fire department like 5 minutes before the meeting started, so, hopefully you have the right.
Yep.
So, there's 10,000, put in there. I don't know how much we're gonna use, but we're gonna have some amount of money. The next fiscal year will be the one that will really affect us the most. So Tony and I went back and forth with a lot of different figures. I don't think it's gonna affect our investing too much in this fiscal budget. So we're gonna keep the investment amount flat at 105,000. That's what we're budgeted for this year. Interest rate will go down a little bit, but we're able to invest more. And there's only maybe, May or June that we won't be able to invest, so I think we're comfortable with keeping it flat.
If you just put it all into crypto, and I'll take care of everything.
Let's have that discussion with them. So that's where we're at with that, total, we've got the school budget, they went up again, so we, mainly because of the fire safety, the total budget going up 160,000 for the town. About 80,000 of that is public safety. The revenue. We did just find out a few minutes ago through the appropriations committee has voted to keep hold harmless on the ETS funding. So there is a possibility we won't get cut. We were expecting to get cut 114,000. If the appropriations committee budget is the one that passes, then we won't be cut that 114,000. So that was good news.
And count your chickens.
Right, I mean, it's, you know, we have a little bit of time here to figure that out beforehand. I don't know when they're probably gonna vote on our budget if ever, but,
Well, didn't you say last time it was potentially delayed until October? Because they're waiting on
right,
that,
so
the state level federal funding.
possibly, I honestly, I haven't even heard when anything about when they're voting or even possibly voting. I don't, all I know is the appropriations committee voted on their budget package today, and that voted to keep the,
So the worst case scenario, if the state budget's not approved before we want to approve our budget, we go ahead and approve our budget. And then we may have to revisit the budget after the state, right?
so it's our choice. We can keep the cut in there, or we can take it out. It's up to you. I think we have time and
Yeah, we have
public
time.
hearing to find out a little bit more, because we literally just got the appropriations committee, everything budget, like
Any changes?
half an hour before this meeting. By the public hearing, we'll probably even have different things, or we might be able to get something from legislative things, this might happen or not, you know?
Okay.
Cause we still have time to change this budget before it goes to the town. meeting.
And I know the school's still having a couple more meetings. Right now, their budget is at, 7,516,000. They're at 2.9% increase,
Yeah.
214,000. That's gonna change again, because they're still having 2 more meetings themselves. So as of right now, ours is potentially going up about a mill rate.
Do we know why the school budget currently is up 2.9%? Have they said?
They had their public, we went to
They
their
did. We
public
went to the
hearing.
public hearing. I can go get their budget.
No, I'm just wondering if you remember if there was any big line items, because when I was going through there,
There was a lot of different changes. You know,
The buses,
buses is the biggest, transportation was the biggest reason.
okay. No, the only reason I'm asking is because I thought that budget would be down slightly this year, but that was just based off of salary. When I sat through their contract negotiations, that was going down, so due to retirements, so.
Right, but then they also had to buy 4 budgets, at least 4 budgets, so that's going in the budget that wasn't there before, so any savings on salaries and
4 buses?
retirement,
yeah,
4 bucks. They wanted
No, you said that they had to buy 4 budgets.
budget, 4 buses,
Budgets on the brain, okay,
4 buses, yeah. They
Okay.
wanted 8, but they did half this year.
okay, got it,
So I think their savings went into the buses.
fair enough.
So those are the main changes. So I'm at 21.95 for a mill rate right now. All things remain the same with just the amount of, you know, we're looking at a mill. If we didn't have our reval, it'd be a mill rate increase. That's what it would equate to.
What is a new mill gonna be worth?
331,000
Versus 233.
versus
The old one.
33 last
yeah, it
year.
went up almost 100 grand. Like, over.
Like, okay, yeah, 98,000, yeah.
So. The mill rate's dropping from 29.33 to 21.95, so.
Lot of changes for sure.
Yeah.
There is a copy up there of the Fair Gov. I'm hoping to have at least a minimal packet ready for the, town meeting. I think it's in front of, Jim.
Robert. Jim, Devin.
That's just, the whole packet was 66 pages. I just printed a couple just so you get an idea of what it's gonna look like. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about all the information. Or it might be overkill, either one, I don't know.
So,
66 pages. So much of the paperless office over the nineties.
Well, it's online, so.
It'll be online. What it's
He
doing,
printed it all. Bike cartridges and them. Those are made in China.
one of the good things next year, like we won't have it ready for this year, is you'll be able to have it on your phone and you can go page by page. It'll be. Anybody can go on and look at it themselves, and they can just look at it by department, they can look at it by pictures, they can look at it
In graphs.
and graphs. So this is kind of doing our packet that we need to do for our annual town
Yeah.
meeting. It does our, presentation, shows everything in any which way you want to show them.
no, this is, what we've said for years, transparency, we're giving that all the details.
Mhm.
So, we're not hiding anything.
Anybody wants?
Now, we just have to make sure we can answer a question based on the budget. Go, yes, if you put the page 36, and look at line 12, that's the answer to the
I'm gonna
question.
do this is, I would. Summary.
Yep.
When we have the actual one for the meeting, we'll cut it down to manageable numbers.
But again, it'll come down to who's going to be at the public hearing and at the town meeting, so. Okay.
So any questions on the budget, any recommendations to add, cut, do whatever? Or is this good? to
This
move
is
on?
with the, oh, yeah, there is one more major piece here. We did the salary survey, we approved the salary survey, I went through with, Randy about what the raise and the step increase, so she figured out the step increase. And I was trying to get everybody's salary based on the their annual date.
Yeah.
That means that I had to do 50 different dates. And 50 different figuring out, it would be a full-time job to figure out everybody's changes for the budget. Because there'd be 50 different changes for everybody. Because a lot of our people are still in the beginning step increases.
Yep.
So they're all changing steps because we still haven't gotten
Right, because we
everybody.
have the 2-year roll-in to get them to the step where we
They're
want.
still not where they want to be. So it's like, okay, we're by July, they needed to be by this step, so the next one, and everybody's state was at a different month.
Yeah, their
And it
anniversary
was-
dates, they're changing.
It was like, I spent like 4 days on trying to figure out what everybody's, just for this budget. And
But doesn't this,
No,
it will not do that.
there should be something,
I haven't figured it out yet, and maybe there's a personal budgeting packet with that, maybe in the future it will be.
yeah.
But right now, I still have to do it manually, and I'm only one person, so this is
No,
like.
no, I understood, and I'm not trying to,
Full-time job, not even just to figure it out for the budget, but just to do it like every month, you're gonna be changing everybody's salary. And to
Yeah.
get it perfectly in the budget without screwing up.
but it was actually me because I saw how long it was taking her to figure out just at the start of it. And I was like, listen, if this is gonna be too, like, this is not your whole job is to figure this out.
Right, if all
Like,
my
we
job
can-
was payroll,
We
then
can change it
probably
because
do
it's
that.
not working if this is how long it takes.
It's much
to do it.
simpler if we do everybody's anniversary date as the fiscal year, yeah, that's the life.
Yeah,
understood, and it will be the town. In order to do that equitably, the town eats a little bit more cost up front
yeah.
Well,
because you've
And
got to
it kinda
shorten
washes
everyone's,
out either way.
because you got to shorten everyone's first step to get it to that anniversary date. You can't extend them past that. Like,
Right,
if it's 12 months, we would have to do it at 9 months to get into the right date rather than 18 months to get into the right date.
right.
So there's a little bit more cost to do it, but it sounds like,
And the other
The
benefit
overhead.
is,
It's really not, 'cause it's her hours too, so who knows?
the other benefit
well,
is,
not even just the hours, the other stuff Julie wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, that's a big.
So,
well, and that was the thing too, is Tracy's like, is anybody gonna be able to figure out what you did if you weren't here?
Yeah,
I don't know that, I would try to make sure somebody could figure that out, but I don't know.
I would just better to make it the,
And the better thing about it too is when you look at the step, it matches.
Yep.
Instead of, because if you look at the step and the way I had to calculate it, there's none of what we're gonna look at anywhere at all like what was on the step, because depending on the month you were in, but.
Yep.
So it was just a lot less work and a lot less chance of making a mistake. Like, I don't have software to do this.
so rolling everyone in initially will be a little bit more cost to do that, because it'll shorten that step period. And any
Because
new
even not
hires
everybody will
will
be at-
also have a shorter step. We'll have to cover that in a policy. that
Well, I
says
think the
that.
one thing you need to adopt is that everybody's anniversary date will be, based on the fiscal year.
Yeah,
That's when you're.
yeah, so that's something we just have to vote on that, because we voted on the other thing before, so we just have to vote to change it to.
yeah,
to the
exactly.
fiscal year versus the,
And it will be. One of the things we're gonna have to define there is, if someone gets hired 2 months before the beginning of the fiscal year, then it will be 14 months before they get their next step. We don't want to hire them and then give them a step 2 months later.
Yeah. it'd be
So there's
fine.
got to be a cutoff period for that, for new hires. We'll just, whatever we think is fair on that, 2 months, 3 months, is what I would expect would be typical. So. But we put that in the employee handbook, approve that, and then we're covered.
so that was my suggestion.
This only covers the non-unionized people.
Right, right. But we only have 3 union people, so pretty much everything.
Yeah, everyone but.
And the union people are all by the library, they're changing, well, yeah, they're, so,
So we just need a motion to, have the anniversary, official, like.
Well, do we want to do this via motion? Or do we want to do it as an update to the employee handbook?
update to the that's the
Which,
step system.
do we
is,
define that? What is that? Isn't that defined in the employee handbook?
No,
It's an addendum to it,
yeah,
because it's a fluid body that changes all the
it's
time.
not the handbook, it's separate,
It's in the,
Separate.
okay,
it's
Okay.
separate policy on it.
okay, and you're just gonna write up the changes and do you want to just do?
Or
Yeah,
vote on it now and then.
Just so we can have it for the budget.
I have no issue with that. I make a motion to approve, resetting, steps to, match up with, budget, year, fiscal year rather than the anniversary date.
Any adjustment for that short period, 3-month period?
There will be, but we can approve that part in the, when we redo the addendum to the step.
Because what we're approving right now is just
Cause honestly.
current employees for
honestly,
this
I'm
budget,
gonna
so I can get it in for this budget. And then the thing I was talking about where if you get
say,
hired,
Start doing that,
3
you
months
want to go back to
before.
the.
no, just new hires,
Just the first year.
just that, for just new hires for the first year. And it's it's either, 3 months. If they start within 3 months of July 1st. So, June, May, so if they start April 1st or later, their step will not be on July 1st, it'll be July 1st the following year.
Doesn't change.
So it'll be 15 months. And if it's March 31st, then they get it on July 1st.
July first, okay.
If we think 3 months is, because that way it's,
No, I think the April first is good for everything.
because that way it's, for a new hire, it's a bonus for them as a new hire. But we don't want it to be too much of a penalty, if you start March 31st rather than April 1st. So it's 15 months for your next step.
Second,
Okay.
Whatever that motion was.
The motion was to change the, step increase on the fiscal year as opposed to the anniversary.
Correct.
And do you want to put the April 1st or later?
We can discuss that further. We don't have to decide that right now.
Okay,
So the motion is just for changing anniversary
Okay,
date to fiscal year date.
Okay,
But we've already done the discussion when we get to this next meeting.
okay. That was the motion, just
I seconded it.
Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure you knew what you were seconding.
I knew exactly what I
Okay.
said.
So, any more discussion?
No,
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. So opposed, there none. Okay. We'll do that. All right, is that all for the budget? Oh, so now we have to decide.
Capital projects?
No, we
Oh.
have to decide if we're gonna do any changes to this budget or if we're gonna move it forward.
Well, we've heard from everyone, correct? It's just the BOE hasn't finalized their budget.
Right.
and part of one.
No, the fire department's in there.
Didn't, Julie said she just got that
We just got
10 minutes
the
before the meeting.
fire department.
Satisfied?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Moving from one to sit down.
Second,
So the motion's been made and seconded to move this forward to the public hearing. Any more discussion? No, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, hearing none, this will be the presented budget for the public
in this format.
hearing. Yeah.
I can do it, the first couple pages anyways, I can simplify it.
Yeah,
All right, so the next is the capital project request. We have, what is it, 300? How much?
We have 300,000.
Yeah.
And we have 887,000 to request. So I went through the Board of Ed, one with them today. Their priority for the fire alarm at 250,000, front entrance at 50,000, and the remaining, so the generator, just told me at the last minute, we have 85,000 appropriated, she really needs 40,000. They put 25 on their request, but they really need 40.
But we've already got 85 appropriated.
Yeah, yeah. So the total cost of it is 125,000, so they'll need another 20, another 40. Those are the three they really need. They said whatever we can appropriate, they're not expecting the whole, obviously everything. Even if it's just the start. So. There's no way we can do the 250,000 for the fire alarm, the whole entire amount, so I don't know if you wanna. Take a project to fund, take an amount to fund, and then tell them to tell us which one they wanna put it towards, I don't know how you wanna.
So what we're looking at right now is we're gonna need the 200,000 if we get the steep grant, which we still won't know. We'll know before the town meeting if we get the steep
We
grant.
should know before the public hearing.
Yeah, we should know by the end of the month if we get the steep grant or not. If we don't get the steep grant, then that's another 200,000 to work with. But that is something that we need to contribute towards, and, the computer upgrades are a necessity, that's 20 grand, and the dog fund is a necessity too.
So I moved the dog fund, it's in the budget,
Yeah,
so we don't have to worry about
I don't
that.
have to worry about that, okay, so the dog fund. So we automatically have, 220,000 at the town. And that leaves us with,
Eighty.
to decide what to do with.
So the recreation, they're working on stuff, but that wasn't their final. They asked for 150, but we've been working on different projects with them. They haven't approved anything at one of their meetings, which I don't know if they're gonna be able to by then. I think their main project is trying to get the,
Current project going.
8th Street complex.
the Red Barn.
So we, just to recap again, because I lost the plot, we have 300,000 of our own money. And we're hoping for 200,000, Steve.
No.
No.
The 200, the steep grant is $1 million. And we have to put a matching amount towards that.
25%.
Yeah, so the 200,000 would be our match to it. So that's, I'm hearing a lot of siren. That is. I don't wanna go see what's going on. So that, if we get the steep grant, we need that money to go towards that. But again, so we can put it towards that right now, and if we find out like next week that we don't get it, then we'll have that money to appropriate. We can do that at the public hearing.
So the 200,000 we would appropriate for either matching the steep grant or for use for capital
Yeah.
improvements.
So we will have to have whatever date, like we have our public hearing, we'll have to have a special meeting right after it's approved the budget. That way I can get the stuff in the paper by the next day.
Yeah, to approve the budget and then the capital project budget too, so we'll know.
Anybody like cake?
I want cake, you can leave it up there, I'll have it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat that while I'm doing that. Thank you very much.
And on camera.
Yeah.
Gonna be all fine.
No, I'll
Just
eat
one.
it after.
I'm gonna get Giselle one.
Oh, okay. Alright.
You can pull one up there for me.
So that leaves 80,000 right now to figure out, or we can,
The other ones for the ambulance, for public safety, and then the board of ed. So for the recreation, didn't we put already 50 grand away for start the study on
On the community building.
no, we moved it. Remember, we just moved it at like the last
not the
meeting.
municipal building, but I thought when we did the grant, the $250,000, we put in for the, community. Which one was the study for the,
Yeah, I don't know.
for
what
the CIF grant that we did get. I thought we had to put a match to them.
But, I don't know if we put money, I don't think we put money aside for it.
I think
No. Cause we had like 10 grand for that towards the building, but we reappropriated it. I didn't know if we were using, like, his match, like work we already did towards it.
Yeah, John's lost some time too,
Yeah,
will be, but. Use some money for the downtown revitalization, but I don't know if that's all for the trip grant and,
I would recommend either splitting the 80,000 between the ambulance and the board of ed, or splitting it three-way between the ambulance, the rec commission, and the board of ed.
I was gonna suggest, splitting it evenly between the generator replacement and the ambulance. Fire department come up.
Well, their first priority, the school's first priority for the money is the fire alarm.
Yeah, but we don't have $250,000.
But that's the first project they're gonna go to fix, so, and they want the money to go towards that, and then they'll try and figure out the rest.
or you could come up with an amount for board of ed and we could say, you can decide, you tell us which project you want to. 60 grand for them or 40 grand for them.
But they gave us the priorities of where they wanted the money for in order of the projects that they're working on. So their first project is the fire alarm, so that's where they wanted the money. They knew they weren't getting a hold, they knew they weren't getting a hold. But that's what they wanted. According to their priorities.
Maybe up to Adam, I would suggest saying we have this much development project. This was.
Yep.
I talked to Darlene first and she said Adam would have what I did, but that was her.
I think that's probably a good course of action.
Okay, so what was that, splitting it between the ambulance and the board ed?
I agree.
Okay. So. We're looking at 200,000 for the steep grant, 20,000 for the computer, 40,000 for the ambulance, and 40,000 towards the school, if they can put it towards whichever project they want. That's what it's now. And it's hopefully that is.
I'll have that by the special meeting so you get the final.
Is that I have to do? Yeah. Okay. And if we don't get the steep grant, we have a meeting after the public hearing, we can reallocate the other 200,000.
Okay,
Okay,
Sounds good.
we have a motion.
so moved.
Okay, I'll make the motion and you'll second it, and, all in favor of this proposed capital budget?
Aye.
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 Okay, aye. Alright. Did we do that, the capital budget project, is that what we just did? We don't have anything on that?
Yes. Tax refund, do we have any? We don't have any?
There is none.
No.
Every time I, don't put it on there, she gives me a tax refund, so I think I'm just gonna put tax refunds on them.
It's a permanent item.
It's gonna
It's
be
a
a
placeholder.
permanent
Okay,
That works. So I guess we're done.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.